listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Welcome back to another great episode of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. Once again, it's me and TJ. It's gonna be Anthony's. He's got a birthday coming up tomorrow. Wait, what's tomorrow? No, it's Saturday. His birthday's Saturday. But he's out with his family today. Getting ready for the celebration. It's Thursday, so it's Thursday night football tonight. I've got it on in the background. Looks like the Miami Dolphins versus the Cincinnati Zebras. They're out there. And I'm sorry, T. I don't care how good T. Higgins is. Nobody in Cincinnati deserves to wear 8-5. I don't care. Like the man changed his fucking name to Ocho Cinco. That number should be retired.
Agree.
I just think
I agree, dude.
It's a slap in the face of Chad Johnson. Like nobody should be wearing that number. Fucking hallowed.
I mean, listen, right from Jump Street, these white uniforms, these alternates are disgusting. Not a fan at all. And then the game gets started, and what we just had is Tua getting carted off the field, and possible, another head injury, looking very likely. His O-line apparently doesn't like him because they're just letting the Bengals right through as if they didn't show up to play tonight, which is upsetting. I actually enjoy, even though I'm a Jet fan, I enjoy seeing a team like the Dolphins who, had some trials and tribulations over the past, 50 years since they were in a Super Bowl, something like that.
No, not 50.
40?
Years.
80.
Yeah, like 40. It was like 78 or something like that when they won, when they went undefeated.
No, and then they made it. They did make this Super Bowl with correct? Was it the AFC Championship?
Gotta say it was before my time. Couldn't tell you if they actually won. I can look it up though, and then we can find out. But yeah,
so listen,
the whole thing with Tua, last week or Sunday actually, when he took that nasty hit and literally could not walk back on the field. The Players Association saying they wanted to do a little investigation on that. The head injury protocol, that he was not right. Like I honestly, when he walked back out on the field, I was like, that ain't right. Like you can't do stuff like that.
Right.
And I guess, if he does have a head injury today, then we're seeing the ramifications of going back into the game when you're not ready to go back into the game.
Right.
So I don't know.
He looked okay. He looked fine today under center. It's just, he just took 2 hits in 3 plays, like hard hits. O-line just gave up and like Swiss cheese, brutal. And especially somebody that's coming off a head injury. How do you not step up there? If I'm the coach, I'm grabbing people by the fucking face mask and saying, like, seriously, you're going to do your goddamn job? You weigh 300 pounds. That fat is for something. It's not to stand there and jiggle. Get in front of somebody.
Yeah.
So, I'm not even a Dolphin fan, and it pisses me off because it's like, dude, you might have one of the easiest jobs on the field. It's be big and get in people's way. You don't have to catch the ball. You don't have to use your fucking hands. They don't want you using your fucking hands, right?
I think that's an oversimplification of what they do.
Out of everybody else on the field, it's a pretty simple job, especially when the guy you have to cover is about 3 inches in front of your face. It's not like he's,
And some of these guys are slippery, man.
Dude, you make a swim move and you get around somebody that's still on that person. You should be able to.
Saying that it's easy for the offensive lineman to just block is like saying that it's easy for the running back to run. All he's got to do is be fast and go through the whole.
That's not true. He has to hold on to the ball. He has to carry the ball. He has to make sure he doesn't lose the ball. There's a lot more factors to it.
I don't know. Listen.
Dude, I will sum up being an old lineman as if you're 7'2" and you're at the baseline, you can't dunk the ball. I don't understand. You're going up right up to the boards and you can't dunk. It's that easy.
I don't know about it. Again,
100%. That's what they do. Dude, they're there to be big.
Well, then I guess playing defensive line is easy too.
Yeah.
Then why doesn't everybody do it, T?
We all can't weigh 330 pounds and run
everybody who's 330 pounds doesn't make it to the NFL.
Because they can't run a 5-second 40.
I don't think it's that simple, T. But the Dolphins.
I think it's pretty simple.
It's you're oversimplifying what they do. I mean,
maybe, but I'm not saying I could do it. I'm not sitting here telling you I could do it.
That's like saying, oh, being a goalie is easier. All you have to do is be big and don't let the puck get past you in the net. If you're fat enough, you should be able to do it. Like it's an oversimplification of what's going on.
It's
of everybody on the ice, being the goalie is the easiest one. You don't have to skate far. You don't have to handle the puck.
It's the hardest job on the ice.
It sounds stupid when I say it, right? Like,
but dude, I'm talking about you're a trained athlete. You have one job, and that is to get in somebody's way, and just get in somebody's way, dude. Get in somebody's way for 6 to 7 seconds at most.
Again, a goalie's job is the same job in hockey. Get in the way of the puck. That's all you have to do.
You got to stop the puck. You got to see the puck.
No, you just have to get in the way. It just can't get past you.
The guy in front of you is not going 100 miles an hour. A hockey puck is.
I get that. That guy in front of you not say whether or not you are in his way.
There's not 3 or 4 offensemen standing in your way, blocking of the guy you have to cover.
You're oversimplifying what offensive linemen do. If it was that simple, everybody would do it.
It is that simple. It's literally block the fucking guy in front of you. What else are they supposed to do?
How are you?
What else are they supposed to do?
Out there coaching offensive linemen,
dude. What? I don't understand how you make it sound not simple. Your job is to block the guy in front of you. No, maybe create a hole.
Throw the ball to the receiver. I mean, we could make it sound real simple. A receiver's job is to catch the ball and run with it. Like, we can make it sound real simple. I mean, the kicker's job is just to kick the ball.
Well, okay. So what? I hear run down 30 different things that a quarterback does. What does an O-lineman do other than get in somebody's way and block them or create a hole?
The offensive lineman also has to know exactly where he's supposed to block that person. It's not just like block this guy. It's block this guy where. Because there is like a scheme where you're going, and then you actually have to use that force to go in that direction. But
I get it. So you're telling me it's hard to tell somebody, hey, block this guy towards the left today. I'm not saying it's hard to execute it. I'm sure it is. You got a huge man, a huge athletic coming at you, but you're supposed to also be a huge athletic monster. The point is, Nick, should the Bengals be walking through the offensive line as if they're not even there?
I don't listen. That should be.
Should Tua be getting hit that hard 2 games in a row?
Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. It's going to happen all the time anyway.
This is 2 weeks in a row, dude.
I don't know about that.
And in a span of 3 plays, this guy's on his back twice.
I mean, you're having a rough week.
And again, we're not talking about the greatest D-line in the NFL right now. We're talking about the Bengals, who've looked like shit so far this season.
I don't believe that the Dolphins had a good offensive line to start the season either.
All I'm saying is when you know your star quarterback, the guy that has you 3-0 right now. Yeah, 3-0, dude. An amazing fourth quarter of touchdowns. Let's call it what it is. An amazing fourth quarter of touchdowns. Okay? They beat the Bills, who a lot of people would have put money on them going undefeated this year. And they can't 2 out of 4 plays in a 4-down set. They can't stop the line.
I don't know. You ask the Bills fans, and they'd say that the referees had something to do about that. But I would argue that Waddle and Hill have a lot more to do with them doing well than Tua does.
I would disagree.
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater,
somebody's got to get Waddle and Hill the ball, right?
Yeah, I know. And Teddy Bridgewater just did it like it wasn't nothing.
Teddy Bridgewater's a decent backup.
Right now, if Teddy Bridgewater goes in there right now and just throws a touchdown, I wouldn't be surprised. And he's the backup.
I would take Teddy Bridgewater over fucking Flacco any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I don't disagree. But again, I think we're giving too much credit to Tua. When he can do it for more than 3 games, I'll be impressed. We'll see how the rest of the
credit's deserved. I think the credit's deserved.
We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
He might not be there the rest of the season.
That's what I'm saying. So who gives a shit? He can't. Right. The best ability is availability. That being said,
dude, The way his O-line's playing, he might as well be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life as a vegetable because he might be safer that way. He might not want to come back out on the field this year if that's the way they're going to protect him.
But Tua took a big hit on Sunday. Wobbly on the field, obviously wobbly on the field, did not look good at all. But I don't know how the training staff allowed him to come out to play that second half, but he did. Dolphins beat the Bills in the upset. Bills fans all over the place with tears streaming down their faces as they jump through their tables that are set on fire. I don't know why, but
such a waste of a good plastic table.
And
you know what I mean? You go to
all out of fat girls' ass cracks, as Bills fans are known to do. But
I mean, hey, listen, everybody has their thing.
That was the big shock to me for the week 3. Jets lose to the Bengals, but I don't think anybody really expected. Like if somebody told me as a Jets fan, hey, your starting quarterback's going to be out, you're going to go 2-2. If we beat the Steelers this week, I'll be happy. And we're 2-2 because I think the whole freaking league had us going 0-9 or some bullshit like that. I don't know, some nonsense.
Right.
Daniel Jones chokes on Monday Night Football again and loses to the Cowboys, the Dak Prescott-less Cowboys. What are your thoughts on that, T? No Dak Prescott. What do you think?
I think we've talked about this multiple times so far this season. I don't think Dak is the guy. I think the Cowboys oversold on Dak. I think they're fine without him. And I think this year might be a year where, depending on who's coming up, you might want to take another quarterback because I don't see Dak being that top tier QB, that guy that's going to get you there. Because, the Dallas Cowboys, they're not, necessarily a team missing just the quarterback. You know what I mean? They have a lot of holes. They have a lot of problems. But it's funny, if you talk to a Cowboys fan, they think the world of Dak. And from not being a Cowboys fan, on the outside looking, it's like, what has he done? What makes you so high on this guy? I mean, I watch games when he's playing and he either barely keeps his team in it or they lose. They're not blowing people out. He's not throwing for 400 yards. He's not racking up 5-6 touchdowns a game. And the way Dallas Cowboy fans love him, it's like these are the same fans that shit on Tony Romo at the end.
Yeah. Tony Romo's a special player.
Yeah, I'll take Tony Romo in his prime any day of the week over Dak.
And Dak seems to be very injury prone too as of late.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the way you said sounded really cool. I don't know why, but I was convinced when you said I said, "Oh wow, okay."
I believe this man.
Yeah, I was there. I was sitting there like, "Wow, okay, right on." I think. What else did we see week 3 that was like an eye opener for you?
Funny, I picked the Titans, and not that the Titans gave you anything to look for this year, but it was just the way I think the season's been going so far. I'm like, I think the Titans are going to win against the Raiders, and you know what? It was actually a really good game. It was a hard-fought game, very tight.
Yeah.
And the Titans end up winning 24-22. One of the better games, I think, that week. Some people will say, "Oh, the Ravens," dude, the Pats are not. The Pats are not the Pats. I mean, it's not their year. They're not going to be good. I think. You said it right from go, man. You said it right from Jump Street that Jones is not the guy, and I think everybody's figuring that out, and I think the Pats are going to have a lot of problems.
Listen, he's not a bad kid, and he's topped out. That's it. I mean, there's certain things that you have talent to do things.
He doesn't have an arm.
That's it.
He does not have an arm, man.
Hold on. Doc's back in the house, and Doc says Dak is the most overrated quarterback in football. Doc, welcome back, man. We have, what? We should have known better. Hockey season's back, and so is Doc.
Damn, Skippy.
Doc, we got some hockey to talk a little bit later.
Oh yeah, welcome back, Doc. But it's true though. And I don't think It's not really on Dak. I think he's always been that player. You knew what you were getting when you drafted him. I think it's more on the Cowboy fans are just a breed of people that pump everybody up like they're the greatest thing in the world, and it must be that Jerry Jones shit rubbing off on them. It's mind-boggling. That whole
Giants one time too many.
Yeah, dude, it's that America's team shit. They still want to hold on to it, and it hasn't been the case for 20 years. Just let it go.
Yeah. Doc says that he liked the Colts win over KC. That was a big shocker too. Maybe bringing KC back to reality. My cousin's a KC fan. He lives in Kansas. And I understand Kansas City is not in Kansas. It's in Missouri. I mean, technically it is in Kansas a little tiny bit, but not the good part. The bad part is in Kansas. The good part's in Kansas City, or is in Missouri. But Doc, you're 100% right. That was a shocker. And the question I got to have for you is, was it Patrick Mahomes or was it Tyreek Hill? Because Patrick Mahomes is not looking like, let's put it this way. Tua's looking more like the old Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill than Patrick Mahomes is. I'm not saying Pat looks bad at all. He'll be an MVP candidate at the end of the year. But, we always have the question of, does the quarterback make the receiver or vice versa? I think in that case, it was a 50-50 right there.
I don't know. I have to disagree because I think Pat Mahomes is easily top 3 quarterbacks in the league. So not even no contest. I mean, who would you say is better than Patrick Mahomes in the league right now? Today? Josh Allen. Yeah.
Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is on the back nine, dude. It's definitely the debate is there. I don't think.
There. I think Lamar Jackson's a very good quarterback. He's just got no.
Lamar Jackson is a very dynamic quarterback. Lamar Jackson he can do it with his legs and he can do it with his arm. He has a very good arm for a running quarterback. I think he's one of those hybrids it's not really a hybrid quarterback.
Would you call Josh Allen a running quarterback? Or is he a quarterback that can run?
That's a pretty good question. Because you know what, when Josh Allen runs the ball, he picks his spots and he does it. It's almost like the play it's set up for that hole to be there and that option. Like, you know what I mean? It's like running an option play, but the option is just use your feet. Hey, if the line's going to back up and they're going to give you that hole, he's a fast quarterback. He's a very athletic kid. I wouldn't say he's, plays a design other than, like the 1 yard pushes, 30 inches type of play. But I think that plays are designed around knowing that he can use his legs more than most quarterbacks, especially a kid his size. Whereas Lamar Jackson, I think, plays are built in for him to use his legs and hold on to the ball more. So I would say Josh Allen's a quarterback that can run, where I would put Lamar Jackson as a running quarterback. But again, that's why I'm saying I think Lamar Jackson's doing that rare thing where his arm is just as good, if not better, than his legs. Most hybrid quarterbacks have deficiencies somewhere, and it's usually their arm strength or their accuracy, especially while running with the ball. And Lamar Jackson has that ability to bounce outside the pocket and still connect with a laser. So I would definitely put Lamar Jackson up there in the top 3 with Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I think the only reason I would say that Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback is his size. I wouldn't call Jameis Winston a running quarterback, though he can run, but he's a big dude. And Lamar Jackson's more like
he's a little leaner.
He's a more athletic Zach Wilson as far as
he's lean. He's right.
So Doc says Josh Allen is a running quarterback. It's not surprising he leads the team in rushing yards.
See, but when he takes off with the ball, I feel like it's
a broken play, and he's just taking off with the ball.
Well, no, it's the way the play is designed almost. It's just good offense. It's good quality. Hey, we're going to move guys around, so we're going to give you that hole. We're going to give you that option, especially if you're going to bring the blitz on him. He's going to make you pay. So similar to Lamar Jackson. So, I'm not saying to define him as a running quarterback, I don't think you'd be wrong at all. So, but even look at fucking Sam Darnold. I mean, last year and going into this year until he got hurt, the guy, he had more running touchdowns than he threw touchdown passes with the Jets. Definitely wouldn't call Sam Darnold a running quarterback.
Doc says he likes the quarterback in San Diego too. He's going to be a good one. I think he means Justin Herbert in Los Angeles, Doc. It's the Los Angeles Chargers now, but we got what you meant. Unless there's another SD team I'm not tracking yet. But Justin Herbert, took a big hit against in week 2 and broke a rib or something like that. Damaged the cartilage around his rib, rather.
Dude, that's one of those things that it's like he
has been taken to a local hospital. He is conscious, but he's not coming back. He's out. And again, I think
listen.
somebody needs to evaluate this. He shouldn't have been playing last week. Right?
If he ends up having some kind of major like bleeding on the brain or something like that, which they 100% can CAT scan him, they can give him a scan of his brain, they can figure out what's going on there. They can tell, what's a new injury and what's an old injury. And if they find out, especially in the world of CTE, that he 100% should not have been out there, I mean, the Players Association is going to have a huge lawsuit against the NFL and himself against the Miami doctors. But but
here's the problem.
You can't fuck around. And Doc knows he's a hockey fan. Doc knows you can very easily get that Eric Lindros system where you get hit by a fucking feather, you get another concussion. And is that what you want to do with Tua?
So while you're right, they can't sue the league because it's an independent doctor that looks at head injuries. And he doesn't belong to anybody. He's just there. It's kind of like UFC. They don't have their own trainers in the corners, like the
staff doctors.
No, so in boxing, you have your own cut man, right? And that cut man, he's going to help you lie to the official doctor. In UFC, there is no cut man. The cut man belongs to UFC. So if you're injured, he's not going to help you cover it up to lie to the doctor. He's going to be the first one to be like, come here, because the UFC doesn't want that liability.
Well, the UFC skated a very thin line forever. I mean, look at how long it took them to just get into New York. They didn't want them. And again, that's different reasons. That's union reasons and stuff like that shit. And I understand that. Right. But it's still, I think the UFC knows they're on a very fine line with the way their fights go. And it's a lot bloodier than boxing. I wouldn't say the propensity to get injured is more or less. It's different. I think, broken legs and broken ankles, but broken chins, all that stuff. Thank you, Doc. Dude, it sucks. I mean, it ruined Eric Lindros' career. It really did. It hampered his career.
Doc says that Lindros comparison is brilliant. Bang on. We saw that in baseball. Clint Frazier was a guy that got injured. He got a head injury, and it seemed like the Yankees didn't handle that well, and it derailed his entire career, and that was the end of it for him. But we've seen people that get head injuries, and it's just a constant. I mean, you see it in pro wrestling, and that's why they don't do chair shots anymore to the head. Concussions to the head it's kind of like trying to think of a good example. Like if you break a bone, that one space on your bone becomes stronger, but then the pieces around it become weaker, and now you have a propensity to break your bones over and over again. And the same thing with concussions. Once you get one concussion, you have a propensity to get multiple concussions. In the military, we have a thing with being a heat casualty. If you pass out or get like a heat stroke or something like that, you will always get
your risk. Yeah.
If you get freaking a cold weather injury, you will always be, you got frostbite once, you're forever tagged as the frostbite kid. You will always get frostbite. So, concussions are right up there with that. CTE is no joke.
What is it? I think they're at like 100% now for CTE. Any ex-NFL players that have had autopsies and has donated their brain to science, it's come back every time CTE.
My struggle, and I just quoted Sal when I went, because Sal exhales a lot in frustration. Sal from Wrestling Addicts. But the thing I kind of look at with the NFL, and I gotta say, like, it's very unfortunate that a lot of these guys have injuries, but at some point, common sense has to rear its head and say, well, you used your head as a battering ram for 10 years. Did you think that was okay? Because I could promise you that wasn't okay. Like, I've gotten a concussion a few times in my life, and I knew I wasn't okay. Yeah. And I was, whatever I did, I was like, I don't want to do that one again. Like, I remember one time I used my head as a battering ram and laid into the side of somebody, and I got up and I was like, that didn't feel good. And I felt sick almost immediately. Another time, an accident, an accidental collision, and a pitcher kneed me in the side of the head when we were both going for a ball, and I was playing catcher. I threw off my mask, and I slid, he didn't, and his knee just railed me in the side of my head. Couldn't feel my hands. The sky looked purple, and like I was jacked up. But you know what?
Yeah.
I didn't sit there and go, let's try that one more time. Kick me in the head again. Let's see how it goes. These guys, I mean, you watch Adrian Peterson for his career. He used his head like a battering ram. Lord knows how many concussions he got and didn't get diagnosed. But like, at what point did you think, I can run a 4.40? Let me take my head and crack somebody else in the head with it. Like, that's just not a smart look. Like,
no,
I get you have a helmet on, but that helmet, it
doesn't, people think that a helmet's there to stop a head injury as far as a physical head injury. It's to stop you from cracking your skull. Nothing is going to stop your brain rattling around in the juices that are inside your skull, and that's what causes a concussion. Nothing's going to stop that. You're still going at 15 to 20 miles an hour on your feet. Somebody that's also traveling the same speed. Your body is it's like getting into a car accident every time. It's your brain's rattling around in the fluid that's in your skull. And the helmet's not there to protect against concussion. You know what does protect against concussions most of the time is your mouth guard. And how many times do people have their mouth guard sticking out of their friggin' helmet because they don't want to wear it?
Well, it's hanging from their face mask. Or it's stuck in the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I think college football is doing wonders with safety. Simple example. Very simple example. I watch a lot of college football. Go Noles. Wearing your chin strap. If your helmet comes off in a college football game, you have to sit out for a play. Yeah. That's it. And why was it? It was because these college kids were emulating their professional counterparts, and they'd sit there wearing their helmets half-assed, and then their helmets wouldn't fit correctly because your helmet is just, I don't know, your hair is too big, so you have a loose helmet, or you don't like the way it fits when it's supposed to fit the right way, or you're not strapping in all the way because the guy in the NFL, he doesn't strap in all the way, and you think it looks cool to sit there with your helmet halfway on your head and all that stuff. I mean, and then NC2A did something about it, and they were like, hey, your helmet comes off, you're coming off too. Yeah. You know what? Now the kids wear their helmets the right way now, all the time. Doc says he wouldn't be surprised if Crosby, and I believe he's referring to Sidney Crosby, retires next year. He's a guy that's one hit away from ending it.
I think, especially at this point in his career, not for nothing, he has nothing left to prove. I don't think the Penguins are going anywhere anytime soon. I think they blew their load with as far as building a team around Crosby and Malkin, and they did a great job. But if I was Sidney Crosby, I mean, the guy is sitting on a boatload of money. He's, hockey's darling, which is amazing because, most people outside of Pittsburgh hate his guts. I'll never forget Don Cherry absolutely laying into him. Well, I think it was his second or third year because he's just playing nasty and creating fights, and then his teammates are having to fight his battles. And he went on a about how this is all Sidney Crosby's fault because he wants to play like a dirty punk, but he wants the protection like a Gretzky got. It's like, no, Gretzky didn't go out there and act like an asshole. Gretzky was an asshole because he scored on you or passed the shit out of the puck. And I mean, he'd bank it off the friggin' referee and get an assist off of that. I mean, it was that easy for him. That's why people went after Gretzky. It was a different time of hockey. Crosby gets gone after because of his personality and how he thinks he's a little tougher than he really is, but then wants to skate away and be like, I'm supposed to touch me.
He's an instigator who won't fight.
Yeah.
Damian Woody said somebody should lose their job over this, man. With what happened to Tua last week, come on. Yeah, he's right, and I didn't think Tua should have been playing last week, and he probably shouldn't be playing today. I mean, hopefully he's okay. A few weeks off, because the truth of the matter is he went to the friggin' hospital. I don't know what's wrong with him. I hope it's minimal.
Yeah.
But at least, at the very minimum, take a week off. I mean, and I don't mean this Sunday. I mean next Sunday. He needs to go no contact, no anything. No, just lay in bed for a week.
Yeah, dude.
Lay in bed for. I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
No.
I mean,
no, not at all.
I get it. There's millions of dollars on the table, but who gives a shit about millions of dollars if you're not alive to use it?
Yeah, and that's the one thing, man. Your brain and any swelling on the brain is catastrophic. Absolutely catastrophic. So,
I just can't understand how he walked, how they saw him get up, wobble, and go down, and they still saw it fit to put him back on the field. I don't understand that. Who are the coaches in Miami that saw that happen and they were like, we got to win this game. Like, dude, McDaniel, lose your job, dude. I'm pretty sure the new coach is McDaniel, right? From the 49ers.
Yeah.
Not Josh McDaniel. I think his name is Mike McDaniel. But how are you still employed, bro? Like, as a human being, how do you watch a man wobble and say, yeah, go on out there, kid? Like, come on, man. Like, zero heart whatsoever. Like, I've been in training situations where I've seen people pass out in front of me, and then they're fighting with me to continue in the battle because it's 200 degrees outside and we're all sweating to death. Did I sit there and go, okay, you look pretty good, get back in the no, it's a game. It's a freaking game. We're talking about life and death.
I think not for nothing. If you're a coach, I would expect you to treat every player on your team as if they're your kid. Would you put your kid back out there? Would you want your kid going back out there when he clearly isn't right? You know what I mean? It's, hey, dude, we played men's league baseball for how many years? And Dennis was our coach, and not only our coach, the same age as us, our friend. And he was very quick with, especially with the pitches. And I mean, I pitched for him for years. And there were times where he would look at me, and I mean, my arm would be hanging. And I would lie right through my teeth to him. No, I'm good. No, you're not taking me out. I'm good. And he'd be like, dude, go sit down. No problem, coach. Go sit down. And then, like, after like 2 or 3 pitches in the next inning while I'm sitting on the bench with him, I'd be like, thank God you pulled me, because I literally can't feel from my elbow down to my fingertips right now.
Doc says the Dolphins should pay for starting him tonight, let alone getting back in the game against the Bills. I agree with you, Doc. I really do. I don't know how I don't know how he went back in that game. When I saw the hit and I saw his reaction, I was like, yeah, he's done for the day. He came out in the second half. He played a great second half, but he had no business out there. Anything could have happened. Anything could have happened. Yeah. The man was clearly hurt. I mean, absolutely clearly hurt. And it didn't make anything any better. They won the game. I guess that was kind of important, but in the grand scheme of things, if he's out right now for the whole season with his head injury, was last week worth it?
No, not at all. Especially, dude, you can't play with the brain. You can't. It's the same thing as the heart. You can't can't goof around with it. I mean, literally something that's like they call it the silent killer, dude. And everybody knows somebody in their lives that has died of a brain aneurysm. And it's literally a burst blood vessel that if you don't identify it within, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, you're probably dead.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that. And this guy's getting beat on by monsters. And then after that wallop that he took last week, and then a short week, barely any rest, and he's out here clobbered again. There is no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. It's sick, dude. It's honestly, it's embarrassing on the league. And if the league doesn't come out and make a statement against the Miami Dolphins for allowing this to happen, listen, I just hope he's okay. I hope, he gets checked out in the hospital, gets released. Everything's all good. But you can't fuck around with that shit.
Yeah. Excuse me. Moving on from week 3. Anything else about week 3 you want to talk about, T? Colts Chiefs, a very big upset. Dolphins upset the Bills. Vikings Lions look good this year so far.
Yeah, I agree. They played a hell of a game. Vikings pull it out, but another great game to watch. And you know what? Again, I like seeing teams that you don't expect to be good actually thrive. And the Lions look very good, and they're very exciting to watch. And as football fans, if you're watching on Sunday, you're watching your team, and then the other games that week, if your team's playing at 1:00, you're looking forward to a 4:00 game. And then, Sunday night football and Monday night football, you're looking at games. And even if you don't have a rooting interest, maybe you don't sports bet, you don't have a betting interest in the game, you want to see a competitive football game. And the Lions are bringing it every week.
Yeah. Saints lose to the Panthers. I was kind of shocked about that one.
A little
bit. Jags keep it rolling. Jags keep it rolling, beat the Chargers with a beat-up Justin Herbert under center. I gotta say though, it's 2022, and Trevor Lawrence's numbers are 28 for 39, 262 yards. Now he had 3 touchdowns, but 262 yards. I mean, in 2022, that's kind of limited, isn't it?
I would say so.
Right? I mean, when somebody like Joe Flacco can throw for 400 yards, you got to sit there and go, Trevor Lawrence, you were supposed to be the chosen one, 262. I mean, you won. I guess that's the main thing. But I mean, I obviously didn't watch the Jaguars game because who gives a shit about the Jaguars? But yeah, I haven't seen anything from him that really lights it up for me. Not since college.
It's not like he's playing on a stacked team, so it goes back to that argument of the quarterback or the receiver.
Easy there, Sal.
But no, I agree with you because I don't think he's like the second coming like people want to tout him.
No, I meant Sal when you went.
No, because it's tough. Because you know what I mean. It's like you could say the same thing about Zach Wilson. Has Zach Wilson given you anything to think that, oh my God, he's our quarterback for the next 10 years. He's our savior. He's the guy that's going to be under center that's going to lead us to the promised land. Like, who knows? It's too early to tell.
Did I ever see anything that he did? And I was like, wow. And that was the game he played against Brady with freaking plumbers and roofers as wide receivers. And he hung in there with Brady. And I was kind of like sitting there like the Antonio Brown game. I was like, wow, holy shit. Like, he has no business in this game at all. But he was in there. And we lost. But you know what? I sat there and I was just like, holy shit. He actually showed up and like, I was impressed. I was impressed to say the very least.
Listen, I'm looking forward to seeing Zach under center this week. I made my opinion of Joe Flacco known this entire season. Everybody wants to sit there and say, oh, you throw 300 yards. Yeah, and still lose. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't care. I hate watching Joe Flacco. I really do. It's not exciting football. He looks at the same receiver the whole way, and then, oh, shit, I'm getting sacked.
What's crazy to me is you talk about, he threw for 400 yards. Who gives a shit you lost? I saw a stat, and I think it said through week 3, the defensive lineman in the I think that in week 3, the defensive lineman with the most pressures was Carl Lawson. I said, yeah, how many sacks did he have? Because as far as I'm concerned, pressures is called warning track power. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Right? Because pressure is subjective, right? If you apply pressure, but the quarterback still completes a pass for a touchdown, who gives a shit?
Right.
Now, if you get a sack, no, that's a loss of down. That's a loss of yards. That's good. But pressure, who gives a shit? If you apply pressure and the guy rolls out and runs 15 yards, who gives a shit about the pressure?
Yep.
You applied pressure. Yeah, so what? It was a positive yardage for the offense. Yet that pressure means nothing. It's very subjective. And it doesn't. And
if we're gonna keep saying pressure, I might as well play the baseline.
The stat doesn't say applied pressure for a negative for the offense. It just says applied pressure.
Right.
Like, oh, he got pressure. Great. Like, it means absolutely nothing. Falcons beat the Seahawks. It's kind of like, for me, I shouldn't talk because I'm a Jets fan, but that's kind of like toilet bowl, isn't it? As far as quarterbacks are concerned,
a little bit.
That's like the pigeons. Like, of all the animals that are birds in the NFL, that's like the pigeon bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. I think pigeons deserve a little bit more respect. Maybe the sparrow of the. You gotta respect the pigeon a little more than the sparrow.
Right. Pigeons can carry notes. Sparrows don't do shit.
Hell yeah, people raise pigeons for money, big money.
Although I gotta say, like 10 or 12 years ago, that game would have been really exciting with Marcus Mariota versus Geno Smith.
Yeah. What could have been?
Yeah. The Packers beat the Bucks in a low-scoring event, and the Broncos beat.
Apparently, the Jumbotron guy in Tampa's getting fired.
Yeah, but Broncos beat the Niners in a very low-scoring 10-11.
Yeah, I was surprised at that one.
And we see Trey Lance is out for the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's I guess they're glad they didn't get rid of Jimmy G.
Listen, they're looking really smart right now, paying him starter money to be a backup. So
yeah.
I mean, we've said it.
I think somebody on their team came out and said, like, it's a shot in the arm for the offense. It's a shot in the arm for a team. Honestly, that doesn't bode well for Trey Lance when you're talking about, the backup coming in, and it's like, oh, we feel great about this, better than when we had, like, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. It's about as shitty a situation as Nick Foles getting you a Super Bowl and then dishing them off for Carson Wentz. And hey, how'd that work out?
You know what, though? To be fair, though, Carson Wentz did get him to the playoffs.
No, that's fine.
I'm not saying Nick Foles didn't do his part. He absolutely did. He played phenomenally in that playoff series. But Carson Wentz carried them the whole year.
I still thought Nick Foles was a better quarterback. I would have stayed with Nick Foles than Carson Wentz. And they moved on from Carson Wentz, 2 years later?
Yeah, something like that. It becomes tough because it's a simple thing like moving on from Zach Wilson because freaking Mike White had that one good game.
No, I understand, but it's almost the 49ers are in a situation where they're going to have to let Jimmy G go. He's done for this year with the 49ers. He's probably going to sign somewhere and start. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's better than most of the league, at quarterback. But it's one of those situations where the 49ers can't do anything but put all their eggs in the Trey Lance basket. Because it would be insane for them to move on from their, first round draft pick.
Not only first round draft pick, but trading up to get him for him to kind of be a failure. One game we didn't talk about was the Bears beat the Houston Texans. I'm sorry, man. Like I shouldn't talk at all because again, we're the Jets. But damned if Justin Fields does not look good, man. I mean, 8 for 17, 106 yards, 2 interceptions. I mean, I heard all last year it was the coaching staff. It's the coaching staff. It's the coaching staff. Could somebody explain to me what's going on with them now? It's a new coaching staff. Like, right? Am I crazy? I could have sworn.
No, I think it's more the Justin Fields hype up and I guess a little Scottish where it's all about Justin Fields and you're hearing how amazing he is and how he's the future and how this, that, the other thing. And I haven't seen it. Have you?
I have not. Yeah, it's
not
so
impressed.
This year, it's Matt Eberflus is their head coach, and so it is a new coaching staff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is this the Ohio State curse where they can't send out a good quarterback? I don't know. I don't really believe in curses except for the curse of Joe Namath. But yeah, it just Justin Fields is. It's 2022, people. 106 yards for a full game of football. That's Tim Tebow-esque. 8 for 17. I'm not trying to crap on. I'm not sitting here saying that Justin Fields is Tim Tebow. I'm just saying I seen a game where Tim Tebow threw 4 for 8. I mean, 8 for 17 is not much better.
No.
17 passes for a full game of football. That's wild in 2022.
In the league we have now, you're not going to be very successful.
I mean, luckily for the Bears, Khalil Herbert ran for 157 yards on 20 carries. He's averaging 7.5 yards per carry. That's great. That's phenomenal. Put him in the Hall of Fame today. Like, that's great. But damned if friggin' Justin Fields, that hurts. 8 for 17, 2 interceptions. When we talk about who the worst quarterback of this draft class was, none of them look good right now. I got to be honest. None of them look good. I mean, Mac Jones looked good last year, but we'll see what this year brings. Justin Fields looks awful for 2 years straight. Davis Mills might be the best quarterback out of that draft.
Wow.
We'll see what Zach Wilson does on Sunday.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm glad TJ Watt's out of the game. I mean, you don't want to wish injury, but I'm glad for the safety of Jets has some injuries on the offensive line. Max Mitchell's been a very nice surprise coming. He's right now he's actually the highest graded tackle drafted this year, and he was drafted in the 4th round.
Oh wow, I don't even know that.
Doc says Justin Fields looks like a complete bust. That is true, Doc. I agree with you. But Max Mitchell's actually graded the highest tackle coming out of this year's draft and was drafted in the 4th round. So Ike Ekwonu not looking too good. Neither is Evan Neal. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. I'm just saying is to this point, their grades have not been as high as Max Mitchell with comparable opportunities as TJ sucks down that cherry.
Oh yeah. Luxaro, baby. Only the best.
Anything more you want to talk about the NFL looking forward to this week, week 4 in the NFL, and you'll get some picks from the guys this weekend.
Yes, you will. I'm still floating above 500 after this shitty week.
But Jets versus Steelers, we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Giants draw the Bears. I think the Giants win that one with the way Fields has been playing. I can't imagine the Giants lose that one. It just doesn't look like something that's going to happen.
The real question is, are you going to wake up at 9:30 in the morning to watch that Vikings game?
I might. I like the 9:30 game. I like drinking coffee and watching the game a little bit. If I'm up, I'm not going to get up to watch it unless it's my team.
Yeah, it burns me out with football a little bit. It's
you know why?
unnecessary.
You want to know why I like that? You want to know why I like that game? Real simple. If the Jets lose, I can't watch football for the rest of the day. So if the Jets play later in the day, then I got more football to watch. Because I sit there and I'm like, the Jets look like absolute dog shit. And then I watch other teams look competent, and I go, why can't we do that?
So unfair.
I'm going to be the worst parent in the world. I really am. I'm going to be sitting there comparing my kid to other people's kids. My kid's
I'm actually
left-handed, and I'm going to be like, why can't you be like the other kids?
So I'm looking forward to the Bills-Ravens game. I mean, great quarterback matchup, and you want to see how the Bills respond after losing to Miami. So, this is a real test for them. Not for nothing. It's definitely not a automatic write down the W on the season roster of games coming up. This is going to be a real test for them. And coming off a loss, I think the pressure's on. I think they thought they would be rolling into this week, undefeated. And I think Miami served them up a hot dish of pain and suffering. So I'm actually really looking forward to that game. Nice slice of humble pie.
All right. Well, that ends the NFL for us. Let's talk a little MLB. But before we do that, I think we can get a little advertising in there. And here's the break for those advertisements. And we're back. Yeah, I know. That was the quickest ad ever, but we're back. MLB this week, obviously postseason race, but more importantly than a postseason race, Aaron Judge cracks his 61st home run the day after the Yankees clinched the AL East and guaranteed themselves a second spot in the playoff race, which consists of 35,000 wild cards and a good chunk of the MLB making the playoffs, except for the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who they share something in common. The Boston Red Sox obviously had a lot of people pick them to win the World Series this year, and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim have the two best players in the world and yet can't make the playoffs. So, broken expectations for both teams for the year. Doc's, one last comment about football. For the 4 games you mentioned, Bills, Vikings, and both New York teams all win.
Wow.
This week. Thank you, Doc. From your lips or from your keyboard to God's ears.
I hope I'm screaming, Doc was right at about 4:00 on Sunday.
But yes, go ahead.
I think my biggest takeaway is how ecstatic I am that those two Blue Jays fans did not catch that ball. It ended up in the bullpen and ended up in the Yankees' possession. That made me so happy. It's like, no, you don't deserve it.
Did you by any chance happen to catch out what happened with that?
What do you mean?
So the Blue Jays actually the coach, I think their coach got the ball.
Yeah, and ran it over to the Yankees bullpen.
No, he waited for Zach Britton came over to get the ball. He wouldn't give it to anybody but a Yankee he knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because security came over like, hey, can we get that ball? And he was like, no. Send a Yankee over to get it.
Smart.
Because he didn't know, like, there could be some fan that stole a security outfit and you don't know where he's
Not even that, dude. Let's put it this way. If you're working stadium security and you're holding onto a piece of memorabilia that's worth probably at least on the low end $1 million, Yeah, I'd lose my job over that. No problem. Fire me. I'm jumping in my car and driving away as fast as I can.
Yep. But
I'm gonna be like OJ on the freeway, not stopping in the Bronco.
Headed for America?
Yeah, dude. 100%. 100%.
Oh my God, I just realized that we're Mexico to Canada.
Yeah, but we don't have, tacos and tequila, and I mean we do, but it's not authentic.
Matt says that ball would have been worth $2 to $3 million. Thank you, Matt, from the Wrestling Addicts podcast.
Yeah, I'm dude. I'd be like Shooter McGavin with that ball instead of trying to throw the gold jacket over my shoulders and run away from the stampeding pile of angry people. 100% am I making a beeline for dude. I mean, I mean, is there any legal ramifications? Do you have to give up the ball? Possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
Possession.
I got the ball. Somebody gave me the ball.
You are correct. Possession is 9/10 of the law, except for the fact that 9/10 says that you're in possession of stolen property. But
why would it be stolen property if I say the coach gave it to me? He might have thought the guys was that I was giving it to the Yankees, but I never explicitly told him that's what I was doing.
Great question, but this is TJ grabbing the ball and running away from security at Rogers Center, hopping into his car with the ball. There's every Yankee fan that was in Toronto trying to get that ball back for Aaron Judge, and that's Aaron Judge himself right there, all 7 feet tall.
It would be worth the beating.
How do you find your walk-ons here at Penn State?
You had to throw Eli.
No, I'm with Eli. But yeah, it was great. Poor Roger Maris Jr. had to chase around Aaron Judge for a week. I guess there's worse things that could have happened.
Yeah.
Matt says the poor Jays fan that missed the ball should have jumped in the Jays pen. Matt, I don't know if you know this, but years ago, Josh, what was his name? Josh Hamilton threw a ball to a fan, and he leaned over to catch it and died. And he only fell like 5 feet. So yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but in Toronto, the bullpen is a ways down. It's like 15 feet.
No, it was a lot higher than 5 feet. I think he fell like 12, 13 feet.
Did he? I thought it was like 10 feet. But
he took a tumble.
I don't think it was as high as that fall that would have been from the seats into that bullpen.
Oh, figure you fall over the rail, you're probably looking at least 20 feet down. Listen, you could step off the curb and crack your head and die.
That's any higher than your height, and you have a head, neck, and back injury, and you could die.
Yeah.
Isn't that
and the worst part is if you fell and didn't get the ball, you just have a back injury.
Because you're not getting that ball at that point.
No chance.
From the stadium for falling into the bullpen.
If you land on somebody. Oh, man, he hurt the bullpen catcher.
Oof.
Where are we going to get another one of those?
Best job in sports. Hey, you, Peanut Boy. We need a bullpen catcher.
I'm in.
But Roger Maris Jr. came out after the fact and said that he thinks that his father and Aaron Judge have the record for home runs. The other ones are tainted. I mean, Barry Bonds has the record. That's it. I mean, we don't know how many people Barry Bonds hit home runs off of that were on steroids. We don't know. People sit there and be like, well, this guy did it and he did it clean. Are you sure? Do you know that?
Yeah. So
the truth of the matter is we don't.
The problem is once you go down this rabbit hole of what's legit and what's not. I mean, they went down this rabbit hole in when Roger Maris hit 61, right? I mean, they said, there's what was there games, 10 extra games it was?
8.
Yeah. And again, what if I sat there and said, I want to count every ball that was a one hopper off of the center field wall at Yankee Stadium with Mickey Mantle having essentially the monuments were in the middle of the field. I mean, they shortened center field by like 30, 40 feet. How many balls?
Prior to, I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it was 1920. or 21, any ball that bounced into the seats was a home run. They didn't have ground rule doubles back.
Oh, okay.
So what I find to be kind of weird is that Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs, right? Never once did he bounce one into the seats. Never.
Really?
Never.
That's impressive.
That's not impressive. That's a fucking lie. I don't care what anybody says. It's impossible. It's impossible that no ball ever bounced into. I've hit a fucking ground rule double. It's just not possible. You can't do that. You can't play like 12 years Major League Baseball and never get a ground rule double. But it's semantics. It counted as a home run then. It counts as a home run now. Like,
yeah,
shit. You know?
Yeah. So you could. It's hard to have this argument because I am a firm believer that these steroid guys should be in the Hall of Fame. I think that
one of them already is.
Yeah, well, right. That opened up the floodgate, and it's amazing that people, like Bonds, are not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, get the hell out of here.
I say give Bonds a 1-day contract, let him go up there for an half, or let him go stand in the outfield for a half inning, and then he restarts his eligibility, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
He has to wait 5 years though, right? After that contract ends.
Hey, but he's eligible again.
Yep.
You know?
No, dude, I agree. I was always a firm believer, especially when the establishment is allowing it to happen. Bud Selig's allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, and he let it go on underneath his nose. And if you're going to sit there and say he didn't know about it, you're full of shit. You are absolutely full of shit.
Very ironic that he was an owner. He owned the Milwaukee Brewers, and somehow, some way, everybody was doing steroids except for them.
Yeah,
I find that to be completely, totally just unbelievable. Like Babe.
Oh, that's pure. That's genuine. That's genuine.
It's like Babe Ruth never hitting a ground rule double in his career. So easy to believe.
Listen, all I know is Roy Hobbs hit the lights and they all exploded.
That's real. Roy Hobbs was amazing.
Actual.
It was all Wonder Boy.
Actually, that home run was without Wonder Boy.
Say that again?
That home run was without Wonder Boy. He broke Wonder Boy before that.
He was Wonder Boy the whole time. Didn't know it. But the Yankees clinched the AL East, guaranteeing the second seed in the American League.
How do you feel about that champagne celebration? Because I don't like it at all. I think it's touching the money. I think it's one of those things where
I think that
everybody should have like a firm handshake and been like, we're not fucking done. What are you celebrating?
Yeah. I feel like that champagne championships for teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Who gives a shit about celebrating that? You win a World Series, then you celebrate.
That's what I'm saying. It's for teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Mets can do that champagne celebration. They only make the playoffs twice in a decade, so they can do that shit. It don't happen very often. When you make the playoffs 28 years in a row, it's like, all right, guys, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Doc says the Savoy Special. With regards to, but yeah, so I'm not into it. I thought that Cole looked like he was drunk the next day. Cole looks like me right now. Like if I was sweating profusely and I look like shit, Cole looked like dog shit yesterday. My dad even said, "Is this guy drunk?"
Dude, it's the champagne got in his skin. He absorbed it.
He's sweating profusely. His eyes are bloodshot. I'm like, this guy's drunk. Not that that hasn't helped people. Not that hasn't helped people. I mean, David Wells was throwing a perfect game with a severe hangover. So, and
he just wanted to get out of there quick.
You know what? Cole was perfect for the first like 6 innings until he got touched up a little bit. You know, I mean, it's bound to happen when he gave up 3 runs and everybody hates him because he gave up 3 runs. Matt says, not everyone can be Boomer. And for those who don't know, because you're too young, Boomer is with regard to David Wells. His nickname is Boomer, not to be confused with Chris Berman, whose nickname is also Boomer, or people born prior to 1968 who are baby boomers.
Right.
For those of you who don't know.
A little history lesson.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the fact the Yankees got to celebrate in Vlad Guerrero's house. It was mighty bold of him to allow that to happen too, because he was very adamant about it on Monday. He was like, "This is my house. This is my house," and then he stepped aside so the Yankees could celebrate in his house twice, not even once, but twice.
I think it was disrespectful to use champagne and not Molson.
Yeah, they
even
were
Labatt Blue. Even Labatt Blue. I mean,
They were sucking down Budweiser's. And what I thought was really great about that was, technically speaking, that's an imported beer.
Yeah, it is.
In Canada, Budweiser is an imported beer.
I had an argument with a waitress one time because Blue Moon was on the import side. It was like, oh, domestics are $4.50. And
it's from Kenyatta.
Who, Blue Moon?
I'm pretty sure it's Canadian.
No, Blue Moon's made in New York.
It's owned by Coors Light, or it's owned by Coors, but I'm fairly certain Blue Moon originally came from Canada.
I'll tell you right now. 90% sure that Blue Moon's made in New York.
Either that, or they were just confused because it's a Belgian ale. But I was thinking about yesterday with my dad. Peraza plays yesterday. Rizzo.
It was launched in 95 and was originally brewed in Golden, Colorado.
Was it?
So I was wrong. Not New York. Golden, Colorado. Yeah. But yeah, so that was under the imports. I'm like, why is Blue Moon $5.50? They're like, it's an import. I said, from the US?
It's imported from Colorado.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I digress. Peraza plays yesterday, has a good game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Cabrera plays, has a good game. He's been having a very good cup of coffee, as the colloquialism is. And all I could think I was sitting watching the game with my pop, and I go, these rookies are fucking living the dream right now. They're there for the clinch. They're there to watch 61, probably 62. Like, could you think of like a better rookie season? If they win the World Series and they're on that roster, could you think of a better rookie season?
No.
Right? I mean,
you're part of history.
You're there. You're there. Like, and coincidentally, not even like by design. Like, it wasn't even like a situation where it was like, no, this guy's going to be on the team every day. He's going to be, because they could still come back next year and win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And let's say they do go to the World Series and they win it all, knock on wood. And those rookies happen to be on that postseason roster. How do you top that next year? Do it again? Rookie of the Year? I mean,
well, Judge probably won't be there to hit 70. So
I gotta say, at this point, they can't let him go.
I agree 100%. And honestly, if they do, and I've said this all year, and this pisses me off, and I'm going to get adamant right now, if they do let Judge go, and as a Yankee fan, if you show up to that stadium and pay the $14 beers and the $125 to sit in the friggin' mezzanine, you're an idiot, and you're to blame. You are 110% to blame. You are allowing Hal Steinbrenner to just take advantage of the fans, make billions of dollars, and not put any money back into the team. And you want to sit there and say, oh, well, the Yankees payroll is, look where it is, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. You cannot, when other teams are paying somebody like Mike Trout, at what was at the time the biggest contract ever spent, and you're the Yankees and you can't do it, especially for a guy like Judge, especially for the season he had this year, especially for what he's meant to the team over the last couple of years, and you're going to say we don't have the money to lock up a guy like this. And I hate New York sports media and WFA. Oh, we're probably talking in the $400 million. I don't care if we're talking $1 billion. It's not my money, number one. So any Yankee fan that's like, we can't afford it. There's no we, asshole.
Not our money.
You're not a shareholder. It's not your money. But if you're going to attend games after the Yankees play the fucking cheap card and let Judge walk, you are 110% culpable, and it's your fault. I will not go to another Yankee game until Hal is gone. It's not happening. If he lets Judge walk, it's not happening. And they could have put in a very good situation by having a good, what's it called? Right before the trade deadline. They would have picked up Soto. They might have had a leg to stand on. A way of saying, hey, this was a stopgap to, we try to make an offer to Judge and he wanted too much and it was, a little crazy, but hey, you didn't do that. So if you're going to allow Judge to walk and you're not going to pay him and you have the ability to pay him, it's on you. Doc, it should be 99.9% that Judge is a Yankee next season, not just 60-40, because it's just you cannot allow a generational talent to walk under the guise of we don't have the money to pay him because you're the Yankees. If anybody has the money to pay him, you guys have the money to pay him.
That's a fact. sorry, T. I hate to break this to you, but unfortunately, Blue Moon is brewed in Quebec, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Molson factory.
Dude, I just read it was launched in 95 out of.
It's no longer made there. It's brewed at, because Molson and Coors are the same company now. So they
Now, but when did that happen?
They moved the I don't know, like 10 years ago.
All right, this happened 11 years ago. Kiss my ass.
But yeah, I think
how sad is that, by the way, that 11 years ago I was actually still over 21.
Fuck. So was I.
We're old.
Oh, fuck. No, you want to know it's fucking, we didn't talk about this, but I watched the One Jet Drive last week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if by any weird stretch of the world he sees this, and the name escapes me right now. I was so upset when I saw it happen. It was just unbelievable to me. It's a Jets defensive end they got from the Texans. The name is escaping me right now. But anyhow, Jacob Martin, that's who it is. So Jacob Martin's talking about how he listens to music, and I just said like 8,000 times in dead air. But he's talking about how he listens to different music. He loves Jimi Hendrix, and then he goes, "My dad used to listen to this, so I listen to this when I'm cooking." And he holds up "Enter the Woo" 36 Chambers. Fuck you, Jacob Martin. All right, fuck you. My dad used to listen to this. Fuck you, dude. Like, unnecessary, completely. Like, who needed that? Really? Shots fired? You're eating breakfast and you chose violence? Like, I saw it fairly more early in the morning too when it dropped. I saw it at maybe 10 a.m. I was not ready for violence at 10 a.m. But I'll be damned if I wasn't like, man, I need to take a few swings at this punching bag in my office right now. Enter the. My dad listens to this, so fuck you, dude. Like it's the Rolling Stones and shit. Fuck. Your
dad's cool. Suck it.
Oh my god,
dude. You know what? I never thought I'd be the guy to be like, oh, today's music sucks, but today's music fucking sucks.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Auto-tune is not music. It's not. Anybody can sound great.
I don't have a problem with auto-tune if it's done by the right person. I'll give you an example. If I listen to The Lonely Island and I'm on a boat using auto-tune, I'm all for it. Just like when we go see Coach Mike and we're on a boat and we're using auto-tune, telling Rook about how he's not on the boat with us. That being said, thoughts and prayers to everybody down in Florida.
Everybody in Florida, yeah.
Fort Myers got hit hard.
Fort Myers got walloped.
Our thoughts and prayers with Coach Mike. I
reached out to him on Twitter. I just wanted to check in and see how he was doing. I didn't get a response, so I hope everything's good on his homestead because they got annihilated in Fort Myers.
Yeah, his social media director, Denise, I hope she's doing well as well. She was a sweetheart when we met her, 2 weeks ago? So hopefully, they're doing all right down there in Florida. Coach Mike and Denise and everybody else out there in Florida with the hurricane and all. Not to get into the negatives. I know how that bums you out, T. I don't want to
no, not at all.
Harsh or mellow.
Dude, it's rough, man. And we were affected by Sandy pretty bad. So as somebody that had to relocate multiple times and have their house they live in worked on and literally lose all their shit and have to show up to work the next day because it's a state of emergency and you have to come in. It's like, I don't fucking have clothes. Like, we show up naked. But dealing with that shit, I say it all the time. I don't know how people live near the water. I know we live technically near the water on an island, but it's rough, dude. And Florida gets hammered, it seems like, every other year. And it's just the devastation is insane. I wouldn't be able to live like that. We got that one freak storm with Sandy, and we got, that's something that I went through once, and I don't think I'll ever do it again. I hope I never have to do it again. And you know what? My heart goes out to anybody with that shit because it's just talk about everything you own and everything you work towards to build with you, a life for you or your family. And it's just gone in an instant. It's Mother Nature, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then going through the insurance, which is the most evil thing in the world, is insurance companies. You pay all this money. They're supposed to be there for you in the tough times. And then they go, oh, yeah, well, this is the value of it. It's like, wait a second. That's not the value of it. And then you have to go through that argument. with uncaring people that are trying to save cents and dollars. So it is what my heart goes out to everybody dealing with the hurricane. And, just prayers, and hopefully everybody's doing okay and safe. And, if the worst thing that happens is people lose their possessions, that's still not too bad. So,
yeah. Same for everybody in Puerto Rico. They got hit by the hurricane as well.
yeah.
It's hurricane season. It's at this point, it's bound to happen. It's like tornadoes in Kansas.
Yeah.
It's just something that, everybody kind of just assumes. As RJ Calabro says, 15-14 Dolphins right now is the start of the fourth quarter. So back to baseball. Yankees clinch right now in the AL East. We're still looking at a tight, or not an AL East, but a tight wild card right now. Right now, your wild cards look like Toronto, Seattle, and Tampa Bay, with Baltimore 5 games out. But all 3 of those teams, Toronto clinched already, but Seattle and Tampa Bay have not. They have the same winning percentage, but not the same record. So they are equal, but not so equal. Honestly, Tampa Bay hasn't really impressed me this year much. I think they're going back into one of their lulls where they just don't matter for a few years. I'm waiting for the Astros to go back into that kind of lull.
That'd be nice. That's what they deserve.
It'll happen.
What it is.
It'll happen. It's a circle. Cleveland limping into the playoffs. The White Sox, who many picked them to be the tops, of their division, they're eliminated. 11 games out of first place. I picked Minnesota to win the Central, and they're out 12 games. So I picked the Yankees, Minnesota, and Seattle to win. I obviously was feeling very nostalgic about the 90s when I made my picks. Actually, to be honest with you, I completely forgot that Houston even played in the West, because it's not fucking West at all.
No,
it's not. It's totally Central, but whatever. It is what it is. And then in the NL, tight race in the NL East, the Atlanta Braves are 1 game out of first place. They lost yesterday while the Mets accidentally won. Seattle has clinched, which is great because we get to see Yachty and Wainwright and Albert in the playoffs one more again. And of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers, 107 wins, the winningest team in baseball right now. They have clinched their position in the playoffs. And the wild card for the NL right now looks like Atlanta, San Diego, which is Spanish for Saint Diego. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you?
I thought you were going to say the correct pronunciation or translation, I should say.
And then you've got Milwaukee in there. Oddly enough, Milwaukee is in. I want to say that's based either on strength of schedule or a head-to-head matchup. Philadelphia is currently out, though they have the exact same record as Milwaukee. Beyond that, San Fran is 6 games out of a wild card. So right now, it seems like it's going to be either Philly or Milwaukee that makes that final wild card play. And it's tight. It's a really tight one right now. And then, of course, in the NL East, it can flip back and forth between the Mets and the Braves in the next couple of days. Actually, they have a huge matchup this weekend. It's Mets versus Braves. So I could essentially say whoever takes 2 out of 3 right there probably wins the division. And if one sweeps, it's over. It's 100. It's guaranteed to be over. So that'll be an interesting set of games this weekend. Some of the conversation, that I saw this week was obviously everybody's still arguing about the AL MVP. And
it's you can't even be argued anymore.
I said to somebody, how many camera crews are following Ohtani around this week? I was like, yeah, I think we figured out who the AL MVP is.
Seriously. What is it? Has Ohtani done anything where you could say he's having a historic year?
He has, but it's only because nobody else ever did it before, not because it's significantly amazing.
That's what I mean.
I think there's a few people in the minors right now that they're grooming to be two-way players.
That's stupid.
I mean, it's multiple. It's not necessarily stupid. It's just the way the game's going to go. And that's fine. It can go that way. But to sit there and try to put like a number toward how great Ohtani is, I mean, it would be like saying that the first guy that threw a curveball was the greatest pitcher in the history of mankind. Is he, or is he just the first guy that did it? Or that tried to do it? You know what I mean? So, I mean, what was the greatest curveball of all time? You know, some people would say Sandy Koufax, some would say Barry Zito, and some would say the first guy that threw one because nobody ever seen it before. And it was like, holy shit, he's coming right for us. So, I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, Ohtani's definitely when he's on the top of his game playing, he's definitely an outstanding player. I honestly, I kind of broke down the numbers a little further than what it looks like, because when you look at Shohei Ohtani, you have to take into consideration the effect that he has on the rest of his team. And one of the things that I pointed out was he effectively forced the Angels to pitch in his 6-man rotation. So that whole concept of he saves them a pitcher or he saves them an extra player is actually not true. They have to carry an extra starter because he's on the team. And that starter right now has a 7 ERA. It's like his ERA is like 6.4.5 or 6.5.5 or something like that. That's not good. So whatever positive you're getting out of Shohei Ohtani pitching, you're losing on the back end. And furthermore, if you really want to break it down, a guy in a 5-man rotation actually throws 33 and a third games, right? So it's probably going to be 34 games because that's why he pitches number 1 is so that he can get that extra game at the end of the year, right?
Right.
Ohtani only pitches in 27. So immediately you're not fielding your best team every 5 days. You're flat out not. It's every 6 games now. So you're opening yourself up to 27 extra losses a year because your 6th starter has a 7 ERA.
Right.
And then to go a little bit further into it, not only is he robbing himself of 6 extra starts, he's robbing the number 2 pitcher of 6 extra starts as well. And the 3 probably of 5, and the 4 of 5, the 5 of 4, and the 6 of the 5 of 4, the 6 of 4. So like, I don't want the 6th guy pitching, but he does. He gets 27 starts. It does have a little bit of a tumble effect on everybody else on the team. And I do want people to bear in mind this very important thing. If you are his teammate, right, you do not want to be in a 6-man rotation. Because right now, I think there's only 2 teams that run a 6-man rotation, the Astros and the Angels. The Astros obviously are doing well with it. Then again, they play most of their games against the crappy teams in their own division. But if you're a pitcher and you pitch in a 6-man rotation, right, and now you're a free agent, you have to take a discount, don't you? Because I don't know if you can pitch 33 games a year.
Makes it a little harder to be a 20-game winner.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a pitcher and you're coming from the Angels organization and now you hit the open market, and every other team's going to be like, well, dude, you pitched in a 6-man rotation. We need you to pitch in a 5. Can you even do it?
Right.
I think that's a fair question. And, teams are going to do it just to drive down the price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're his teammate, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't want to play with this guy because he's hurting my value. And ultimately he is kind of a little, I mean, if you really want to look at the numbers, he is. You don't have as much exposure because you're only pitching 27 games instead of 33. Yeah. And that those 6 games make a difference.
Yeah.
Those 6 games are between your ERA being 3 and being 2.7.
Which is a difference.
It's a huge difference.
Especially at the bargaining table.
Yeah. And then you look at somebody like, Mike Trout, who's had very tough time staying healthy these last few years because he played so hard his first, decade in the league or whatever it was. He doesn't get time at DH because Ohtani's always playing the DH role. So,
right.
Are you really gaining that extra player? Everybody always goes, oh, but you can carry an extra player now. Are you? Is that player any good?
Yeah. I
mean, you have your 6th starter who's got a 7 ERA. You just lost that one extra guy. It's wasted now. Again, I'm not saying he's not a good. I'm just saying is you have to look at the overall effect that he has in the entire team, not just his stats. His stats are great, but with his stats, you still finished 30-something games out of first place and 16 games out of an expanded wild card.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, like, how good is it, honestly? I don't think he could come to the Yankees and we could convince Garrett Cole, you're only going to pitch every 6 days now.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where he's going to go, where they're like, yeah, we're totally going to revamp our entire team and you're just going to do what you're going to do. And we're going to build everything around you and hope that it works out. Because there's very few teams that can actually do that. most teams that are competitors are already built to be successful now. Why would you throw a monkey wrench into the works to try to mess all that up?
Excuse me. Yeah, no, I agree. And it doesn't help that Mike Trout is ghosting kids for autographs.
That honestly, dude, that is the start of somebody's friggin' villain story. That's how TJ became to be the angry, disgruntled man that he is now, is because a Major League Baseball player, he asked him for an autograph and told him to fuck off. Paul O'Neill, I'm looking at you. Mike Trout just created 2 kids. Those kids are going to grow up to be like the evil version of the Wonder Twins.
Yeah, that was a bad look. That was a really bad look. I mean, how hard is it to take 2 seconds out of your life
and somebody
make
goes,
a kid's day?
I saw some jackass on Twitter say something, and he's a former professional baseball player at some level, and he said something like, the hotel is like your house. It wouldn't be appropriate for them to sit outside their house and ask for an autograph. It's not appropriate to sit outside the hotel. I got news for you. Mike Trout made $37 million to work 7 months this year. Somebody else I saw, somebody said like, oh, they're really tired when they get back to the hotel. I woke up yesterday at 6 a.m. I took my combat fitness test at 7. It was over by 10. I got back to work by 11 to go and then worked a full day until 4 and then drove 3 hours back home. I don't want to hear about, and I do it for like $70K. I don't want to hear about how fucking Mike Trout making $37 million a year is tired working 7 months out of the year when he's injured for 2.5 of them.
It's funny. So my father used to work at the Hyatt in Red Extra Grand Central Station in Manhattan, and he happened to know that that's where most of the out of town teams stay when they come to New York City to play the Yankees or the Mets. And we happened to be at the Yankees playing the A's, and we ran back to the Hyatt, and little 8-year-old me standing there with a baseball and a pen and very meek and timid. And as the bus pulled in, the players all piled into the lobby, and I'm just standing there. My father edged me on, like, just go ask for autographs, go say hi, go ask for autographs. And it's funny, like, as I'm just standing there, like, no, like being a nervous little bitch, a whole bunch of players like, hey, what's up, buddy? You need some autographs? And like walked over to me. Like, they made the effort to walk to me. It's like it takes 2 seconds to make somebody's day, especially when you have the star power of Mike Trout, and somebody went out of their way to go see you at your hotel, just to show their adoration for you and how much you mean to them. It's tonight. You don't have to sit there and fucking listen to their life story to say like, hey, what's up, guys? I got to run, but here, give me a pen. Sign it real quick. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being fans. Anything.
The killer for me was Mike Trout said, next time, guys. What the fuck is next time? When was the last time you got near Paul O'Neill, T?
Never.
So if he was like, next time, you're 35, next time never happened. Like, to me,
just go wait outside his house. It's like, dude, it's been 20 years. This next time.
Again, like, I was watching the Mets game the other day, and Francisco Lindor was having a catch with a kid behind the dugout. And I was just like, yo, you just made that kid's life.
Yeah, dude. We happened to score tickets to Citi Field to watch the Mets play. And, we won the tickets. So we were down in, the luxury seats right behind home plate. I think we were like 4 rows from the field. And it was when Curtis Granderson, the first year he went to the Mets, and every time he walked out to the batting circle, to take some swings and stuff like that, the on deck circle rather, he'd walk up to the fence, like the mesh, and any kids that were sitting there he was like, hey, what's up, guys, what's up, and gave everybody a pound before he took his swings for an at bat. He's in the middle of a game. He's playing for a contract. He's playing for his career. He's got to put in numbers. He's got to get a hit. He's at his job. He's at his desk crunching numbers, okay, and has the time to go over and make a little kid's day every time he went out there to bat. You can't tell me after a game at the hotel you can't take 2 seconds for a fan, especially little kids. I understand the weirdo adult fans that are like, oh, my God, Mr. Trout, I love you so much. Come here, look at my shirt with your face and my face, and we're going to get married one day. Like, yeah, you could totally run away from those fans. I get it. But, like, little kids, dude, like, that's...
Those little kids, they called him Mr. Trout.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because, like, as beautiful as, like, athletes can be in sports, when it comes to, like, you see these players walk over, and especially if it happens to be a kid with something, wrong, some kind of handicap or something like that, and they walk over and they take their jersey off and give it to that kid, and just the look on their face and the tears in the parents' eyes of how special that is and how that is to a kid that is a fan. And just to see that, like that effect that you can have in somebody's life by a total stranger, and you can have that effect on somebody and their family around them. And you don't want to do just 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds out of your day. I'm not saying you owe anybody that. You should want to do that. You know what I mean? You should want to engage in people that like they're the reason that you have this livelihood. If they didn't give a shit and nobody gave a shit, bad boys at the supermarket would be making more money than you. You're playing a game.
Yeah.
It's a kid's game. Like, engage with the fans, especially the younger fans. Like, they deserve it. And that's one thing. And people diss on wrestling all the time. You will never see a group of people more geared towards kids and making a kid's day and staying in character just to have that interaction and go out of their way to have that interaction with those people. And they're getting the shit kicked out of them for a lot less money than Mike's getting.
You know what's crazy?
You know what I mean? It doesn't take a lot to be a great human being.
Some of those guys, like Shawn Michaels and Razor, and they were on drugs in the 90s, and they still took time to be like, "Hey, little kid, what's up?"
Yeah.
They might have said it slurred. They might have been like, "Hey, what's going on, man? Your mom's real hot." But you know what? They took the time to say it. Like,
yeah.
I'll never forget Shawn saving that kid that jumped over the railing.
Yep.
And Shawn was like neck deep in drugs at the time. And he was still like wise enough to be like,
that wasn't a good couple of years for Shawn.
But Doc said he didn't hear that about Trout and the autographs. Cheesy move by him. I agree, Doc. Was it cheesy?
Yeah, there's a video, Doc, if you want to check it out. I mean, he just breezes by these kids like they're not even there.
He says, not today, kids. I guess the next time he sees them, he'll get them an autograph, which will be never. Ultimately, I think it came down to the fact that the reason Mike Trout signed with the Angels long term is he didn't want to be bothered I believe there's a quote of him saying, "I like being able to go to the mall and nobody recognizes me."
And I'm not saying it's not like they walked up to him while he was eating dinner with his wife or his family or something like that. It's like, dude, you're coming from the ballpark. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, they weren't being rude. They weren't in his face. It's just a shitty situation. Like, I mean, sure, would I like to be bothered at dinner by fans? No. Would I accept it? Absolutely. Wouldn't bother me at all because but again, I'm not in that realm and that world. And if someone ran up to me and asked me for my autograph.
I was at a ball game and I threw out a first pitch one day and a little kid came up to me. I'm obviously in uniform and he asked me for an autograph. And it was like the most touching moment ever, like ever. And I actually happened to have a ball that was signed by like the whole bullpen. And I was like, here, take this too.
It's funny.
Back then we were friends with the bullpen. So,
but me being on sanitation back when I was a sanitation worker, for all the ticket day parades, on 6th Avenue, I was just in front of the cops. We're in front of the barrier because we're cleaning up as all the paper rains down from the sky. It's the only day you're totally allowed to litter in New York City. Not that I think at this point you're not. I mean, you could shoot people in New York City and you'll be out that night. But that's another situation altogether. But we were, obviously we're at work, so we're explicitly told, like, listen, don't be asking any of the players for autographs or anything like that. Understood. No big deal. We're professionals. We're there to do a job. They're there to celebrate, whatever. But I had fans behind me, obviously behind the barricades, behind the cops, and like little kids, like, hey, can you throw my hat up there? Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? That means the world to them. And it's like, dude, the autographs aren't for me. Little kid asked me to give his hat up. And dude, almost like every time I'd pass something up and be like, and I'd point to like the little kids as the players know it's like not some weird adult trying to skis on them, some shit for eBay. You know what I mean?
You are a weird adult, but not for that.
I am definitely a weird adult, 100%. That's neither here nor there. But I mean, if I can help some little kid get an autograph, absolutely, I'm going to do my best. No problem whatsoever.
But I mean, overall, Mike Trout, be better. That's all we ask, Mike. Be better. We know you don't want people to recognize you, but They do, and little kids recognize you, and you're their hero, and be the hero. Just be the hero. That's what people need. They need the hero. You're now the villain. Those kids are going to go up to be the evil Wonder Twins now.
If maybe he was busy, let's say he was busy. Let's say he had something to do. He had a meeting. He had to go do something, right? How hard would it be to be like, kids, I can't sign anything right now, but give me a pound, guys. You still made their day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Phil Mickelson gave you a pound, made your day.
Hell yeah, he did.
Phil Mickelson razzed me. Just acknowledged that I existed.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome.
You exist, and now I'm going to shit on you, sir.
He was like, Mike Trout was being recorded. He could have been like, hey, kids, I can't stop right now, but quick, let's take a picture. There's a camera right there.
Right.
He was being recorded. All he had to do was hey, kids, turn around, look at the camera. Hey, and then, sir, give that to them. Goodbye. I got to go.
Anything, dude.
Yeah, he didn't even look at them. He didn't even look at them. You know what it reminded me of?
Absolutely sad.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Major League 2 when Wild Thing goes to the orphanage or whatever it was, or the school for wayward kids, and he's like, "What a dweeb! He didn't even have no friggin' cake."
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, okay.
You're
Trout's like that all the time. I'm just saying he got caught in a situation looking bad.
Yeah, especially because from the outside looking in, there's no excuse not to acknowledge them just a little bit. Like I said,
I can hear their little voices. Mr. Trout, can we have an autograph? Oh God, my heart breaks. My heart breaks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hockey
back.
Hockey, baby. Hockey is back, and the Rangers got absolutely shellacked tonight by the Devils. Hate to see it, 5-2. Luckily, it's preseason, but the Rangers looked a little flat tonight. You got a little shorthanded goal out of Kreider. Beautiful pass from Fox, I believe. And then Laffy got a goal tonight. Good to see him out there. I mean, we were all a little bit scared. The last game, him taking that injury, and I think I definitely pooed a little. Didn't want to see that. So it was good to see him back out there. At least he notched one. The Rangers are going to have a tough decisions to make. I mean, Sammy Blais back out there. Great to see him back out there skating. He had a lot of fire in him tonight. Looked like he wasn't too rusty, and happy to be out there and getting involved and making some plays. And definitely need him on the team. It hurt us last year not having him, especially the type of role player and type of he is. And then Othman, man, he took a little step back tonight. He out of position for one of the goals. I think he was playing the pass and just let the dude skate around him. I think it was Sebastian. Just skated right around him and roofed the puck top corner. 19 years old, definitely has some growing to do, but I'm a big proponent of the only way you learn how to play in the NHL is to play in the NHL. Being in the minors isn't going to do you any good. It's not going to do you any favors. Maybe it gives him a little time to put some more pounds on and stuff like that. That's great. But I think that the best experience you can get is actually playing. The Rangers have some issues with space this year and who's going to make the team and who's not. So I think more likely than not, Othman's going to spend another year down low. And, based maybe on an injury or something like that, which always seems to happen in hockey. It's unavoidable. Maybe move up during the year. But I would like to see him make this team. I mean, he was lighting it up down in the minors. So I hope he makes it. Oh, I just pulled a Lafreniere Young Guns rookie out of a pack, me and my son. And, just trying to keep the tradition alive. I was into sports cards as a kid, and now I'm just trying to get my son into it. And it's funny, though, because especially, certain packs, and that's exactly who I was looking for. I was looking for some Lafreniere rookie cards and stuff like that out of the year that we were pulling. And it's funny, like my son's like, Daddy, can I hold the cards? I'm like, let Daddy open the pack. Got to make sure you don't bend the corners. And then all the base cards, here you go, buddy. Play with those. Have a great time.
A little Andy Pafko.
But it's funny. He's into it and stuff like that. Get him in the mail. Comes from Amazon or, Upper Deck or wherever I order them from. And usually like once or twice a week, I'll get a blaster pack of cards. Usually 7 or 8 packs in the box. 20-something bucks. No big deal. It's something fun to do and get some, a little more into sports and just have that shared interest together. So it makes me happy. Even happy when I pulled out that beautiful Lafreniere Young Guns rookie. Corners all nice and sharp and shit. Put that right into his sleeve. Sent a picture to my brother. My brother's like, yo, that shit's going for like $150 right now on eBay, ungraded. Like, well, we're gonna have to get that bad boy graded. But just fun.
Zach Jones too.
I have 2 Zach Jones rookie cards.
There you go.
So
Zach Jones the team.
That's what I said. I said this guy needs to make the team and score about 4 this year. Bump those rookie cards up. But yeah, dude, I'm happy hockey's back. It's my favorite sport, hands down, easily.
We're looking for some collabs with Third Period Bourbon, of course.
Yep.
Glad to. I saw Dave messaged us the other day. I love seeing that. I was actually going to invite him on today, but I thought about it too late, and I was like, it's too late. He's probably got CQ or something tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we're in the thick of football anyway, and season didn't even start yet, so we know we're not going to spend too much time on hockey. Just getting into the mix of things, but yeah, reading about the Rangers, they're going to have some contract issues as well going through this year, so I guess we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what ends up panning out. Igor looked a little shaky, but again, it's preseason, no big deal. Get a nice bounce back. I believe the Rangers play the Devils again tomorrow night at the Rock, so maybe a little redemption on the menu. But I'm just happy to see hockey being back. And look at year. A lot of people ask me like, "Hey, who do you think who would be the favorites to win the Stanley Cup?" And I don't see the Avalanche missing a beat. I see the Hurricanes getting better. So it's definitely not going to be an easy road to get back into the playoffs and make a run like the Rangers did last year. But they have the pieces. They didn't really lose anybody, so they definitely have the pieces to be able to do it.
I agree. I don't see any reason they shouldn't at least make another appearance at the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, from your lips to God's ears, because we could definitely use it. I there's nothing better than playoff hockey, and the only way playoff hockey gets better is if your team is involved in playoff hockey. Then it's just the tits.
I'm gonna be honest with you, TJ. So there's nothing better than playoff hockey. I disagree.
What's better than playoff hockey?
I've never had it, but I've seen it. It's a pineapple upside down cake and a cheesecake, like all in one cake. So it's like a pineapple upside down cake sitting on top of a New York style cheesecake.
Nah, you can't compare cake to hockey playoffs.
I can. I have cake all the time. Hockey playoffs is only one time a year.
That's what makes it special.
Like, I don't want it to be special. I want it. That would be like sitting there saying, "Oh, I don't want to win too many Stanley Cups because it makes it less special." Get the fuck out of here.
But I don't think you'd want cake every day, all the time. Would you want that pineapple upside down cheesecake every day, all the time?
I might actually.
Because I would take Rangers playoff hockey every day, all the time.
Do I get the cake too?
In a perfect world, yes. Ooh. This is America. You did serve your country, Nick. You still serve your country. I think if anybody deserves a pineapple and cheesecake and Rangers playoff hockey, it is you, sir. Are you looking up pictures of pineapple upside down cake right now?
Yeah, I am actually, and it looks incredible. I want it right now.
I could see you salivate.
Dude, they put a pineapple upside down cake on a cheesecake. Like, who does stuff? What kind of sick genius thinks of shit like this? Like,
the same people that take a Krispy Kreme hot off the thing, hot, fresh glazed Krispy Kreme donut, go home in half and throw a sausage, egg, and cheese on that bitch. Geniuses. Wow.
Look at that. Look how moist that looks. We'll throw some of your fancy, was it Luxardo friggin' cherries in there? Maybe throw a little rum in that cake.
Ooh, you're killing me right now. I would eat that whole thing.
But here we are, and the Bengals are up 26, pending the PAT, to, I believe it's 17 if they were shown, 15, 27-15. Looks like they've got this one. 2 minutes left in the game. But then again, we've already seen the Jets, I'm pretty sure, come back from a very similar deficit just 2 weeks ago. So you never know.
Yep.
It's the NFL. Last game of the year. Can't hold anything back. But I honestly got to say right now, if the Cincinnati Bengals lose this game with a minute and 52 seconds left, the state of Ohio doesn't deserve that.
What did they do?
Both teams losing in less than 2 minutes in like a 2.5 week span. Like, that's just mean. It's mean spirited.
I'm okay with it. Totally okay with it.
History.
It's fine. Listen, wars were fought over less, so
that's true.
They might not break away from the U.S. after that.
One thing I did want to talk about, moving on from hockey, which I love hockey, but we're moving forward. Phil Mickelson removes his name from the lawsuit against the PGA Tour, the Live lawsuit.
Yeah, and then the countersuit has his name on it. So
I thought that was an interesting piece of news that came out.
Yeah, I didn't read too much into it as to why he pulled his name off of it, but then his name ended up back in the countersuit. The PGA is going after him, named him and a bunch of other players by pretty much saying that they were tampering with their tour player. I guess trying to bring him over to live.
That, you know what, that might be why he removed his name from the original lawsuit.
Try to separate himself a little bit.
A little bit, not anything crazy, but just hey, like, oh, listen, I'm over there, but I'm not over there.
Dude, it's so stupid. The only people that are losing at this point are the fans. If anybody says that, last week was the President's Cup, anybody that says that the guys being there wouldn't have made a difference, it 110% would have. If Cam Smith was on the international team, it could have made a difference. Like, you're out of your mind. The only people that are losing is the fans. I want to see these players, and I don't understand these like pro PGA people that are like, oh, fuck Live and everybody that went to Live. It's like, why, dude? Why?
That's politics.
It's ridiculous. It's agenda-driven nonsense. It's who gives a shit what golf, conglomerate or corporation they play under. You still want to see them play.
It's like pizza. It's good no matter what. There's music in the air.
Yeah, except if you get Chicago style, like nasty fucking.
That's not pizza.
No, it's not. It's a lasagna. It's a pie with sauce and cheese. It's horrible. You ever wonder why everybody in Chicago shoots each other? It's because look at their fucking pizza.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too. I would take to the streets and take my anger out with violence on people. It's like, I wanted a slice of pizza, and I got this shitty sauce pie. Imagine growing up. Imagine looking at New York style pizza. Yeah, dude. Imagine looking at New York style pizza.
There's no such thing as New York style pizza.
Well, you know what I mean. Imagine looking at pizza as we know it, the right way. Kind of like looking at your pineapple upside down cheesecake. And then you happen to be in a place and they have it on the menu and you're all excited and you order it. And their pineapple upside down cheesecake is just like diarrhea with a cherry on top and no pineapple whatsoever. Fucking pissed.
Right? At least they got the cherry right. Damn, that looks good.
Does look good.
Actually, this one looks better. Only because it's cut. Everything looks better cut.
Still waiting to see it. Ooh. Nice.
I like it when the cherries bleed a little bit.
That's nice.
The way you just said that, you sound like Doug Heffernan from King of Queens. Daddy like.
Dude, you're a dick. Now I want that. Like a lot of that.
I hear you.
If you show up my house tomorrow to pick me up for Rook's birthday party and you have one of those in the car, I mean, do we even go to the birthday party or do we just sit there and eat it?
We just sit there and eat it. Meredith,
right?
Too. We sit in the back seat of Meredith's car while she drives and we eat the cake.
No, we make her drive to like the beach, like sit out underneath the moonlight. Yeah, make it like a real special moment. We'll be on our deathbeds side by side in the old age home because nobody's gonna want to deal with either of miserable fucks being that old and incontinent and shitting all over ourselves. We're like, hey, Nick, remember that cake?
Fist bump as we die.
Yeah, totally like The Notebook. We'll just go together. Oh, shit.
All right. Well, do we have anything else sports-wise? Are we missing anything?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
And it feels good. It feels good. And it sounds nice.
Feels real good. But not as good as my belly would feel with a cake in it.
That's what we bring here at the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. I think tomorrow we're gonna do a little content tomorrow. We'll be at an Oktoberfest celebration out there in Ersborough Park in the dirty state of New Jersey.
No left turns.
One last thing. Last week I did another hike with Irreverent Warriors. I met Donnie O'Malley, who owns Vet TV. Awesome dude. Awesome event. If you're a veteran, look into it. It's awesome for mental awareness. It helps you build a foundation of a support staff that's gonna really look out for you as a buddy and a battle buddy. When we get out of the military, it's hard to find those relationships again. And it's easier when you're doing stuff like that. And then, of course, if you're a civilian and you're looking to try to volunteer to try to help veterans, they're always looking for civilian assistance to help with those types of events, organizing and things of that nature. It was an awesome event. I had a great time. I brought a couple of my Joes. My uncle went with us. Just good times overall, good vibes. And thanks to Irreverent Warriors for setting up the whole thing. And then last before we go, our buddy Johnny Lawrence going through chemo one more again. Thoughts and prayers to Johnny. Go Jets. He's a fellow Jets fan, and he's a former Royal Air Force, so a brother of mine for certain. I talked to him this week. I was having a little bit of a difficulty this week, and he reached out to me to see if I was doing okay. And I appreciate him immensely, and I wish him nothing but the best. And he's in our thoughts.
Absolutely. 100%. Let's go Jets. Maybe Zach Wilson will make a little magic happen. Give him something to root for.
A little bit of magic from Zach Wilson for our boy Johnny. We'll catch you again next week with some new content. Again, we'll get some content from the Oktoberfest thing that we're going to tomorrow. And we'll see you when we see you. From me and TJ and Rook, who's out there in the ether. We are the Scoreboard Addicts, and we'll catch you real soon.